At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
Well, all right then. Hi, and welcome.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I'm so glad that we've had the chance to regroup and just talk in a smaller group. And I've watched you from before I even joined, before I even sacrificed for Hex, and I bought into Hex, and it was really nice to see, like, you were the first females that I saw. So it's nice to actually be able to catch up like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's so nice to meet you. I went at the first conference that I went to. Around me, I think at one point, Nerd Girl and I were the only two females in the room, and that was a little overwhelming. So coming back and coming in this year, around like the launch of everything and the excitement around PulseChain and the sacrifice, like the new faces and like fresh streams that started coming in, like you could see a difference in the community with like a new generation, so to speak, which is kind of funny because it's such early days with everything. But you, like, as soon as I saw your content, I was like, oh, I have to meet her. So, and I tried to, I was trying to reach you through Twitter. I was like, oh man, I can't slide into her DMs. That's smart.
I'm so glad that we met. So, tell me a little bit. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm really curious. When did you get into crypto?
My first experience with crypto was a little over a year ago. So not very long.
Okay, not that long either.
Yeah.
And how?
I was brought into Hex by a loved one, and I like through that exposure, I was like, I didn't really understand what it was at the time. Like I really hadn't even heard about crypto at first. So my thought was, okay, where am I going with this? And like, where does this lead to? Went down the rabbit hole and I can't get back out. I love this space. I love the community aspect of it. That's what really like started piquing my interest with like Hex itself. And then coming into crypto, it was looking at the numbers and like the differences of like marketing techniques that people use. Like those are things that really like stimulate me and keep me excited. Cause like that was my background, like product sales, those things. Yeah. So like watching trends and stuff, it's natural.
You're so right, because crypto is obviously, there's a technology behind it, right? That's really important in the quality of a project. But then there's also marketing. Each cryptocurrency is a brand, and it's like how you market it, and that's like up to the founder and the community. And it's just really interesting to see how the different projects are evolving and like what kind of people that they're bringing in. Like some people are bringing in a gaming crowd, some people are bringing in more of a like NFT and artist crowd, some people are bringing in, it's fascinating to watch all of that evolve. And I like looking at it from that point of view, as opposed to like analyzing code, even though I'm interested in that. It's just not something that I really understand that well. So, but the business side, I think I understand and you understand, which is why I'm very excited to talk to you today, like more in detail about what you think it would take to market well cryptocurrency project.
That is, there is one specific example. Like there's actually a few that are within our, like, I would say like within the ecosystem that we are saturated around. But like through the research that I do for streams and for clients and things, like the projects that are out there that are not even talked about within this like small community, growing community, I should say, like one project that we have been really looking at was NFT.com. The proprietor bought the domain name years ago, just at the thought of just knowing the word NFT. He was like, and went through, and he can explain it better than I can, but he went through, and that brand stuck out to him. And that that instant thought of like, oh, that's a recognized, like that's going to be something recognizable for, I'm going to take that and I'm going to tuck it away for the future. He's investing into like websites, domain names. Yeah. And I was like,
that's a good domain name.
Oh man, that really is a good domain name. I was like, so part of NFT.com's like promo that they're doing is they are when you purchase or mint a Genesis key, you have the ability to create a NFT.com profile. So it's NFT.com / whatever you want to make it. What like easy marketing, and you could sell that domain afterwards. So like what an easy way to like invest into something and invest into, you know what I mean? You're investing into two things, like, from my perspective on that. I kind of went off on that one, but yeah, like branding is so important. Look at colors alone. Instantly, I'm drawn to bright color. I mean, I love bright colors. I've been jokingly called the Easter Bunny because I love bright pinks. I love this. I love the logo. Eye-catching. The name. You know.
The name is good, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like so many more out there that are they're tricky though too. Like you have to really do your research when you go on to some of these websites. Let me see if I can share my screen if you want to, but I found there's a few scam coins out there that look really good. You go on to their website and their branding could almost be flawless. Game Zone, for example, looked like you went on there, they had games and you could watch the game itself. If you don't know what you're looking for, you would say like, oh, wow, that looks like a great intro to a game. But once you have done more of that, you could see like, oh, it was just like a fake tester clip. That's not actually gameplay. So boom, instantly you can recognize a scam. I think that's important for PulseChain, like this upcoming PulseChain. That's important. It's Crypto Panda said it. It's kind of like an airport, right? We're going to get all of these planes projects coming in, and how are we going to vet those? Are those going to be vetted for us as a community? No, we're going to have to do our own research. So we have to start somewhere, right? Knowing, and then like catching on to things that are doing research starts with wanting a project, right? So that starts with marketing, bringing it back to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, I think that it's important to understand, analyze projects, to see if it's a scam. So to your point, Lindsay, that like, if it really, there's certain, and there probably somebody should do a stream on it, how to kind of identify like what are certain things that are scam, right? Like you should do a stream on it. I think it will be really interesting. So it's not just about the coin, but the projects at launch and like what makes it, like what are the red flags and like warning signs for that. I think that's really, really important. And for me, like to draw awareness to projects is not because I think people should necessarily invest in them. I just think we should just know, like if somebody is building on your land, right? Like I think K4K says that it's like having land, and it's true. It's like having land, and we have this like great piece of land, but people are going to build here, somebody's going to build something there, and you want to, I mean, I'd want to know who's building what on my land and where did they come from and what are they doing and what kind of shop is it? Is it a cafe? Is it a clothing store? Is it, a gym? It's going to be all different kinds of things that are coming on, and to really kind of understand that. But I also think that even more importantly for us as a community, and what I'm doing, and I have a feeling you're doing the same thing, is that I'm going out there and I'm going after the quality projects, especially the ones that are in the earlier stages, and just saying, with no vested interest in them, but just saying, have you thought about launching all that on the PulseChain instead of on Polygon, instead of on Solana, instead of on Ethereum? This is why I think you should launch it on PulseChain. and like to bring the really good projects. Because if you bring really good projects that are like, first of all, like very get a lot of press and a lot of attention, that brings attention to PulseChain. That pumps our bags. So that's my vested interest, is just to make PulseChain stronger. You know, I'm not interested in shilling anyone else's projects, but I do want to bring people over who have, you know, like big artists or big fashion houses or big, you know, projects that are really high profile. That's the kind of things that in high quality are the projects that I want to just try to really kind of get them to go, you know, convince them to go onto the PulseChain.
100%. And you want to be able to make sure that like the inter-community relationship, like your intention isn't to take away from one bag to pump into another. It's to create awareness, and then you go forward and you make your own decisions, educated or not, from there, based on education, emotion, all these different factors, right? This space, man, allows us for such wiggle rooms. Think about if that land was on fire, right? So
yeah,
you have all these beautiful shops and malls and parks, and then boom, fires everywhere. How much more valuable does that land become? Like that's like just to have space, because you can't use a fire zone, right? Like it's a hazard. So you have this value, and to keep this space valuable, to keep that product and project valuable, vetting is going to be, and education is going to be huge going forward. There's, you know, you're going to other like stylists, designers, athletes, like names of recognition, right? And you don't want to, you're not shilling anything to them. You're just bringing awareness. Some of these things will come our way will look like pump and dumps. So I think that, like, you know, how do you foresee having a like someone of stature like support a product or project without looking like they're shilling it too? Like sometimes I struggle with that. I've even been asked, like, do you work for Hex? I'm like, no, I'm just so excited about like that it exists that I share it.
Oh, you mean from the other side, like as somebody who's promoting Hex or somebody who's promoting PulseChain, to not look like a used car salesman, like,
Yeah,
oh, you're getting a cut or something.
yeah, raise awareness without marketing it.
Yeah. I mean, you are marketing, but I just feel like the way to do it is kind of more grassroots style. And it's just like, listen, you know, if you just, for my money, if I were launching a project and it were, you know, something I was investing in, you know, as opposed to Ethereum, I would think about possibly PulseChain. You might want to look into it because the fees are so much lower, and, you know, go on and on and on about all the reasons, right? Like, you know, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's proof of stake, so it has less of an impact on the environment. It's something really worth looking at. But you know what? Like, you can do your own research, but I just wanted to kind of let you know that that's there. And then you kind of plant the seed, and then if they bite, then you can tell them more. That's my way of doing it, and it's been really, really effective. For the kind of people that I hang out with, that's been the way that I've been able to kind of get them interested. And so I've convinced quite a few people to come on to PulseChain. So that's my way, but everyone has their own way, you know, to closing the deal, you know, and then you just have to see how open people are to it. But I just feel like it's just such an easy sell because it's such a good product. But I do think it's going to be easier to sell once it's launched. It's a little bit hard to sell something that's not out yet, you know?
It's a little bit hard to get anybody else excited about something that's not out either. But to create that awareness with that, like making sure that you can test that project too, you know, that's important.
Gosh, the amount of testing that's been done for this project is crazy. It's really good. You know, 3 test nets. They've been testing for a really long time and gathering a lot of data, you know, and it's very thorough. I don't really see any other projects doing that. And it's based, you know, it's a fork of Ethereum. Ethereum's never been hacked. It's never gone down. Like, it's not, so it's based on a good product. And on top of that, they did 3 test nets. I mean, that's about as good as you can get. You know what I mean? Nobody else is doing projects in this way, because I watch people who are launching projects. I'm like, you're not doing a test net? Like, no. And then it launches, and then a million things go wrong. And I'm like, well, that's what you get for not doing a test net. But I wouldn't know that unless I'd been in this community and watched Richard, you know, doing it. So
Yeah, as an investor, what's something, well, like going back to projects that are coming in and around us, what's something that attracts you to it? What brought you into, like, what was the first thing that attracted you to crypto?
I think it was, the possibility of, it's like the Wild West, and the possibility to really make gains in a way that maybe 10 years from now, that window will have closed. We're in this window right now. We can make gains that, I know everyone said in the history of mankind, no one's seen these kind of gains. I mean, 6.9 million times for Bitcoin, 14,000 times your money in under 7 years for Ethereum. That's bananas. 10,000 times for Hex. It's doubled 13 times in under 2 years. Like, Apple stock's not going to do that. Real estate's not going to do that. And now, especially like understanding, and at that time, I didn't really understand inflation, to be honest. It was really more, I kind of knew that it was a problem, but I didn't understand how much of a problem it was. But I was like, gosh, I'm a corporate person on a salary, and I do fine and I live okay, but I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life unless I figure out something else. I kind of had that come to Jesus moment. And then a really good friend of mine's in crypto, and he was sacrificing for PulseChain. So he's like, put money in this. I had no idea what it was. So K4K always teases me. He's like, yeah, invest now and research later, which is what I did. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know who Richard Hart was. I knew nothing. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put this money in because he told me to. And I did. And I researched it. And then I found out about Hex. I taught myself about Hex. And then I bought it. And then I contacted Whales Only. And I was like, can you walk me through what this staking means? And should I be doing it? And he's like, hell yes. And so he kind of really explained it to me. It took a lot of time. It was really nice of him. And so I just went on hex.com and I figured out how to stake. The user experience crypto is a nightmare, but Hex, like the website and the way that Richard is set up, his like front end and the user experience is so good and it's so clear. Yeah. I was able to do it. I staked like by myself. I mean, no one showed me how to. I didn't watch a video. From the site, I figured it out. And I'm not that smart. So if I could do it, anyone can do it.
See, that's funny. Somebody had said that to me the other day. They were like, oh, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to get on there and sound like silly. And I'm like, I can get on here and talk, like, please join me because you don't sound silly. Like, know so much more than you probably give yourself credit for. And like your ability to communicate what you do know, what you have learned is like, you have such a gift for that because it seems just so natural to just roll right off of you. And for like you to be able to give that so evenly, like we could receive it. Like I watch your videos and I connect with you and I understand. So like,
oh, that's really nice. That's really, really nice. I wanted to say hi to CZ, who's in the chat. Hi, CZ. I hope you had a nice date night. I think last night. I hope it was fun.
Hey, ladies. Sure it was
fun. Yeah.
Thanks for stopping and about the chat, and which is terrible. Hi guys, thank you so much for coming and chatting and being there. Hey, Erwin, I see you in there.
Mobius is in the chat.
Molly's in there. Molly was on with Adam last week. They had a good time.
Melvin McLeod.
Oh yeah, that's
McLeod. Melvin is in the chat. Hi, Melvin.
What's up, Mel?
And Weefish from South Africa. Brandon Fraser.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, Els. Yeah, these are people. Some names I've seen, some I haven't. So it's nice I always like to see new names.
Me too. It's so nice when you're to be able to interact with your chat and like Mobius, awesome. Erwin's awesome. Molly's awesome. Like CZ, thank you so much for showing up. It makes such a big difference, and it encourages you to come and bring more content and do more of the things that people really need to see, like videos of the ability to bring eyes into new things. So.
Lindsay, what I think, is really important that I think that it's more people in the community should focus on is we talk to each other, right? We talk about like how to prepare for Pulse and all that's really important content. Like, obviously, I'm not taking away from anything that anyone's doing, But what we really need to be doing is reaching outside, you know. And I watched this interview last night with it was on Cryptographics channel. He does really good content, and he interviewed Steak and Apes, you know, Steak and Apes, who does the NFTs. And Steak and Apes was saying, and he made a really good point, that he, first of all, works with NFTs and he understands it in a way it's like not overpriced JPEGs. And he's, you know, he understands like you have to have projects that have real utility and real value. And that comes from, you know, not just overpricing a, you know, a pixelated image. And so he has a very clear understanding of like the values of it. But what I found interesting is that he said that, you know, it's really a way for him, by talking about NFTs, he can engage with so many people outside the community. And even if you just convert 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 50 into hexagons, those are new people. And then that person is going to tell their friends in the NFT, because the NFT community is really, really huge and they spend a lot of money, you know, and they're into crypto. So it's like, that's the gateway into crypto. So that's like worth, I think, you know, and I'm not saying that that's the only way that people should go about it. I'm going after the fashion community. I'm going after people in fashion, but people who are interested on maybe more the digital side of fashion, because they're going to be more open to coming into crypto, right? So I don't want to go after people who are going to not be open to it. But I just feel like there's got to be more. I want to see more focus on how to onboard people outside of the community and bring them in. Like the meme coins, you know, going after the meme coins that are going to be, you know, that they'll get the Pulse version on when Pulse launches. I think that was a really smart strategy. So,
yeah, I mean, to look at it at the angle of what's already been done that didn't work out to the favor of like I almost want to say like the little guys sometimes, but like NFTs do have utility, can have utility, and yes, there are some total crap ones out there. There's different functions for many different projects. That's true. The NFT community, thanks, Adam. The NFT community is just getting started. Like to have and welcome that into the PulseChain system will be vital for continued growth for now until the NFTs become either the ones that don't, whatever, like that's why we do our own research, right? Like if you want to go and spend what was the minimum board ape was, like what, $410,000. It was like it was over $400,000 for one crappy, no, excuse me, that's judgmental, I guess, maybe, but it's a picture of an ape that was easily duplicated into different ape communities, or so here you have like your original, but then you're getting copies and copies and copies, and then I could copy your copy by taking a picture of my screen with my phone, like where I understand where the value kind of slips away. But guess what? Somebody paid over $410,000 for their NFT, and wouldn't that be nice if they did that through PulseChain? Like if
exactly.
So,
I mean, really, if you analyze Bored Apes, it's more about having access and being a member and a part of a community. I'm not saying it's worth the money. I'm not saying go out and buy one by any means. I would never, but it's just, that's what that's about. And if you really look at like kind of the meaning behind that, a lot of people will find that not valuable, but there are people who are finding it valuable and they're paying for it. So again, to your point, Lindsay, you don't have to participate in it. You don't have to buy one. You don't have to even like the product, but if they're going to be spending that kind of money, I'd rather them do it on our network than on ETH. We could really use that kind of community. Having it and on the PulseChain network would be a game changer. It's really big, and we're going to get the NFT community because they're all going to copy over. So it'll be interesting to see how the adoption goes from that side.
Adoption, yeah, that is, the early days that we're in to be able to witness where adoption will take us and branch off from here is just, going back with adoption and being quick. The Bored Apes mint last, did you see how much gas was?
Yeah, everybody's talking about how crazy it is. Like to undo a stake was like $24,000 or something. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's for those. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. That was trying to, and then there's like projects that are launching and they're using ETH to do it. And then what happens to these projects that, you're trying to make like a meager transition and you're like, whoa, it costs more than what you're actually trying to purchase.
Yeah. I mean, but what's interesting is that for the NFT community, Ethereum is considered the premier network, right? So the best projects, for the most part, launch on Ethereum. It's just known. If you're a good project, like if you talk about a new project, true like NFT Web3 people are like, where is it? Which network? And if you say ETH, I'm like, oh, And so and my point is that it's because of how they branded themselves, right? Or how the kind of projects that they're getting has attracted. I mean, also they're the first. So because they're the first where you could deploy a smart contract onto the network. But I feel like that's my point about bringing in, we need to recruit good people and bring them into PulseChain, because then we want to be the premier network, because that brings a lot of business. I mean, look what happens when the Bored Ape mints last night. The gas prices go to 5,000 Gwei. Like what? So that's, really, that's incredible.
A guy lost 2.1 ETH on a failed transaction trying to mint land. We saw how ghost it looked like.
Yeah, but I think that mint land, the people who lost money on failed transactions through Bored Apes, I think Bored Apes reimbursed them. I think I read something about that today.
Oh wow! That would be a great thing for them to do, because Pulse definitely could have handled that. That's for sure.
It definitely could have handled it. That's what I'm saying. You can hate NFTs. Who cares? Just have them come over and do the business. Do you know what I mean? It helps us. So
absolutely. Well, that's what we do. We're branching out and meeting and speaking with different communities like daily. We're here and we're focused on a certain ecosystem because of the math and the research that we've done. But we do have people that want to dabble. They want to look outside of the box, and bringing them. Now they're getting copies of their ERC-20s onto PulseChain, and like we've been saying, like NFTs are coming, more utility tokens are coming. There's other projects that are being, will be regulated that will set the tone for crypto and how we can move it around our space.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I'm definitely looking forward to a faster car. That's for sure.
I can't wait for it to launch. It's going to be, can you imagine the kind of content that's going to come out? The content is going to go nuts, because there's going to be so much to talk about.
I'm excited for that. When you do a comparison of like the Telegram alone, like the interaction, that's one of the things that I look at when I'm vetting projects is community interaction. That's so important. How many people are in their Telegram and their Discord, and what's the quality of conversation? Are people just posting memes? Are they actually asking questions? Is there interaction from I say the staff, or the devs or developers? Are they having conversations, or is it bots that are responding to things like that? That makes a big difference, and knowing that those are like things that you need to look out for is helpful for sure. You want to make sure what you're investing in is actually not going to like pull the rug out from underneath you, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that that is a really good indicator, and that's where people look is on Twitter and Telegram. Are we active on Discord? Do you know? We're not, right? We don't like Discord.
I don't think not that I know of. I'm not active with like I don't know. It's weird. We have our own Discord. Viber has our own like private Discord. But other than like opening a whole community one, not that I'm aware of. I'm sure there is one out there. If anybody knows one that's watching, please feel free to post it in the chat. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a huge community building is through Discord, so yeah.
Then that was how I started using. I actually really like Discord, way better than Facebook or any other social media platforms. I appreciate the simplicity of it, and I love that you can use voice and chat in there too, and it's private, so you don't have to worry about anybody sneaking in your community.
No, that's nice. I mean, there's a lot of scams that happen on it. I think that's why it's a lot of liability. Like Gucci's Discord got hacked.
No
somebody
way.
else's Discord, they get hacked and people lose money. Like it's bad. So I think that's why Richard doesn't like Discord, because it gets hacked all the time.
Mm.
There's some reason, but yeah.
Well,
Our
when is it?
Telegram chats are strong. Gosh, it's like crazy the number of communications that happen per minute.
Oh yeah. That's true. If we do launch in a bear market, we will be the only hot topic talk of the town in crypto. Thank goodness. Oh, thanks, Ben. Hey, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, watching other streams for other projects that are out there, and then having them look. Have you ever looked at the site Crypto Bubbles?
No.
Okay, Crypto Bubbles is really fun. If I could figure out how to share my monitor, I would pull it up. But it's a bunch of different little bubbles, and like Hex was the only one that was green, or so they were like, and the only thing that's look, it's Hex, and Hex is like right in the middle of this big green bubble. So as soon as Pulse launches, I imagine there'll be two big bubbles of green. I don't know.
Gosh.
Maybe
it's the only one. Yeah, it's the only thing that's doing well right now, and it's gonna. I think all the way up to launch. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think it's gonna pump all the way to launch. I think it's gonna be like exciting. I'm ready.
I hope. Maybe I'll pull up crypto. Maybe I can pull up Crypto Bubbles. We'll see if it is green today. Oops. Nope. I forget like how to switch back and forth with these things. So anybody wants
you just push share, and then you can say share screen, and then you can just pick what you want on your screen to show.
I'm using one of those magic mouse between the monitors. So instead of like on my computer, I'm trying to click it off of a magic mouse on a monitor like across my table. Studio working on.
Wow, this is cool. I like this Crypto Bubbles.
Yeah. Oh, this site is really like, it's probably one of my favorite ones to check. But earlier, everything else was completely red, and Hex was like right up here in the middle, floating around. I love that.
What's CRO? I don't know what any of these tickers are.
I'm like, some of these you don't need to know about. This one is like, this is like a steal right now.
So when you click on it, goes onto the chart?
Yep.
And what chart is that? Is that like the 24-hour chart?
This one here is the day.
It's like 24-hour. No.
Yeah, this is the 24-hour chart here.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll pop up that one for those watching here. Here we are.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Oh, look at the year. I was like, oh, look.
The year?
Yep. Here we go for a full year. So you were talking about like celebrities like when marketing and stuff and coming in, right? And with like big names coming on and starting to get excited about projects, comes like promotion, and then promotion stimulates buying because people are scared to miss out on something that's going to be so great, right? So here I was showing, like, I just wanted to show, like, this is where like you might see like promo and then buying. Like I'll let Adam go through that. He's going to do a whole stream with me about like how to go through and actually look at the charts and to read them to see like where influence are coming in and actually influence the buy and then taking off and dumping, and how to spot like pump and dumps that way. So I'll let him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's more eloquent with that than I am, so I'll let him do that.
No, that makes sense. I followed.
Yeah, but that is one of my favorites. That is one of my favorite sites to just visually to pop on and check a chart or two really quick. With a fun little tool.
Could be like almost like the vigilantes who like look for suspicious looking projects and like list them, which is kind of mean, but I mean, people, it's a good thing to do since you're able to identify some red flags.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm like looking at that, so I was wondering if that is something that the community does, because that was being very clear that was something that was not interested in being done like from like PulseChain's, on their Pulse. On their site. But
Yeah, 'cause there's liability, and it can't. You don't want to be talking about things that if you're the owner of the land, you don't want to talk badly about your tenants, because especially if you're not sure it's true, it's got to be kind of independent and just kind of a watch list. But I think it should be done responsibly, not like to create this motion, the scammer, and it's like, okay, look, here are some red flags. Here are some, you have to be careful about how you do it because you don't want to rug a legitimate project. But they're
that's
probably
true.
really just good signs to let people know, that indicators that could cause alarm, that should I guess motivate further investigation, some language like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's where having like a active and very vocal and visual community too. Like you're not just out there speaking on Twitter and in this little dust storm. We have so many streamers coming out, and then PulseChain with like just throwing it out there for like SHIB, like look at what I don't know if you caught Crypto Kindness did a stream, and he had Moonbee on there, and he is a character, but he's also like a real human, but he comes across like very character, and you could tell like that man could swing a chart because he's so charismatic, but he's also very genuine too, and he's not doing it, like he comes across very genuine, I should say. The ability of someone to come in and like, so you need a viable and source to come that will show you projects on your chain or your network that could be a scam or harmful to your community. So just for example, like this site I found here, I don't know if you guys can see this very well. It's called BSCheck.
Oh,
/BSC. And what it is you can put in a address for any contract and put it in there, and it will say it'll show you if it's a viable product or project or if it's total garbage, and you can check BSC, ETH, or the Poly network on this particular one. So I thought and these are like great resources that you can pop on and use. All right, PulseChain, this is XYZ token is coming to PulseChain. What's that about? This is like a great way to grab their address. Is that real or is that going to pull the rug out from underneath me kind of thing? And then another spot here I really liked. I actually just like the names of these two. BS Checker and Token Sniffer, or Token Sniffer. I was like, okay. So Token Sniffer, if it's looking that about what it does is it will take like the tokens that are out there, top trending tokens, and you can put the address in there and then compare them to the tokens that are out there. And it'll read their contracts. From what I understand, it almost like reads their contracts side by side and says, okay, this was plagiarized 80%, so probably not a good project. So that's like a good way to do some looking out for yourself on that one.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. All right, then I'll close this down. Thanks.
Okay. Mobius says Telegram group called Pulse Police has some devs that go over code, etc. Nice.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Mobius.
Pulse Police. That's excellent.
That is very catchy. Okay, so
is there a Pulse jail?
I was like, Pulse jail. There should be. Are you familiar with the Lobster Wallet at all?
No.
Okay, so that's part of Stellar's. That runs off of Stellar. But in Lobster, when they first opened, the airdrops that would come through, because that's what I'm thinking is like there'll be like incentives for airdrops, and the people are gonna be like, oh, well, free money, yeah, click an ad, click and research before you click an ad. You never know. Well, like you said, if you're a landlord and you don't want to talk bad about your tenants, you also want to make sure that you have somebody policing your land to make sure that they are knocking on doors and making the communities aware of if any dangers that may lurk in the area. So if that's what the Pulse Police are doing, thank you. Can you imagine with a name like that, they'd be doing much else?
So Lindsay, I'm going to ask your opinion about, I'm figuring out like, I'm doing the onboarding of no coiner. So I know how to go with that. Really short videos, really simple layman's terms. You got to define everything. Like you can't just say Pulse is a fork of Ethereum. You got to define what a fork is. And then you got to explain, you know what I mean? Like you got to explain everything. Like we take for granted all the lingo that we use that people don't know. So I have that down and keep it really short because the algorithm likes it, one. And then two, you can convince people to watch a 2-minute video, as opposed to a 20-minute video, especially if they're not sure about crypto. So that I feel good about. But the second thing is that I want to incorporate fashion, right? And obviously I'm not going to just talk about like fashion shows and what collections I like, because it's not that's a different kind of channel. And I'm not interested in making that kind of content. But fashion has a big business, is going to be a big business on Web3, right? So that will be via like authentication, digital wearables, watching companies like Louis Vuitton and how they manage blockchain, how they break into that, how they break into even NFTs, how they break into, do you feel like people in this community, because I've been given the feedback, and it's probably true, that this community would not be interested in that kind of content? Like Louis Vuitton building a blockchain. Do you think that would be interesting to guys?
Yeah, I mean, this community, they all wear it, so why wouldn't they be interested in knowing?
I think maybe like Louis Vuitton and then like watches is probably about as far as I can go with fashion. And there's a lot of content for Louis Vuitton. Like they worked with some other companies. They worked across other like fashion groups, which they all pulled together and they built a blockchain.
Wow.
And they built a blockchain, and the whole purpose is for authentication. So authentication, for visibility into supply chain, for chain of command, like chain of custody. So if I sell something to you, it'll be on the blockchain. So if somebody buys it then from you, they can look on the blockchain and say that the original one was from me and I got it from the original Louis Vuitton store. It'll trace everything, so you can like have that authenticity, right? And then, and that's the whole purpose of it. They're not trying to do NFTs or anything like that right now because they're very nervous about it. But like what the purpose is, Prada's involved in it. So is Cartier's involved in it. It's a lot of watch companies. Hublot's doing something on. It's going to be really big in the watch space, which I know this community is interested in. But like, I mean, I don't know. Are people? I feel like, I mean, I guess I could find an audience for it, but I'm trying to go with what this community would be interested in, because that's my crowd right now, is this community. And I don't want them to be like bored by my content, but that's really kind of what I know. But I don't know. What sounds interesting to you, I guess, is my question.
I'm interested in that. That sounded interesting to me. I want to hear more, and I want to know more about that. Like there's, that is the future. You are going to put your headset on and you're going to go into Web3, your metaverse experience, and you're going to want to you're going to look, you can be in your pajamas, but you've got your headset on, and now you got your watch on and your Louis. So I would want to be, if I was, as a fashion conscious person or somebody who's interested in these things, I want to know like, what do I want? Well, not necessarily like, what do I need to be wearing, but I want to be aware that the tokenization of these items exists in the first place. That's important to me for the sake of authenticity, to keep that chain intact. And then you're not ending up with Canal Street.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the number one, to me, important use of, blockchain. And even there's can be like NFTs that are issued with that as well. And that's why I like talking about NFTs, because I know that there's a really interesting use case for it that's actually very, very valuable to the fashion industry. But, I don't know. I think it's so interesting, but I feel like I had to figure out my way. And I think it was Adam who says that there's content for everything and there's an audience for it. I just have to find it, I guess, so.
Absolutely. It has tokenomics never seen before, and it is really hard to compare to anything. It is going to be a crazy ride. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do I think about the new project Pulse Dogecoin? What do you think about that?
To be honest with you, I don't know much about it. I don't know anything really much about it. So, do you know anything about it?
Honestly, like from the airdrop was free and people were able to claim, within a certain parameter depending on what their stake limit was. So like crabs and all that, we had like different amounts that were given so that whales couldn't just come in and like scoop it and then it couldn't like get just pumped and dumped. Well, it ended up going out. Where is it? Let me see. I wonder if Crypto Bubbles has it available for us. But other than that, I really don't know. I really haven't followed much on it. It was kind of one of those like, it was meant to be a meme coin from what I understand.
Yeah.
So it's meant to just like sprinkle the community with some love. And then that it was like to bring awareness. So it was, and now we get a copy of it. Sweet. Thank you.
So there was an airdrop for the Pulse Dogecoin?
Yeah, there's an airdrop. You can go on to, let's see.
Is it legitimate?
Yeah. Actually, I held on to mine, but some people were like, I don't really care. I don't want to see the like they wanted to get rid of it, and it was like some people got like $200, $700, depending on like your stake that came due. So it depends on like what people would see as valuable, like having another meme coin there and then having a copy of these meme coins, or like is it the actual like fiat value it equated to? But I don't know. I think that things attached to this project that and product system that have good intention behind them too. When you like Adam and Brian actually Hex Machina did a stream with him about it, and I was working on the back end, so I wasn't paying attention, obviously. But I'm like, oh no, I really don't know, other than like I know that they're a meme coin and I know that he has good intentions and a good product. But they did another stream on that. If somebody wants to learn more about that, definitely hop back and see that one.
Does Adam want to hop on and tell us about it?
Adam, you want to hop on and tell us about it?
We kind of want to hear about this.
It was actually. Oh, where did he say? One claim click. It hit $5 today. See, Adam, come on and talk to us about it.
But you have to have stakes and hex to claim it, or you have to have sacrifice and pulse.
My problem. Let's go on here. That'd be helpful if I went through the website and be like, oh, I don't really know. Oh, we have the website available at my fingertips here, and I can show you everyone too. Let's go through it. Oops, wrong one. I don't know how that got up there. Oh. Okay, sorry about that.
One click claim, 100% safe. It hit $5 today. Oh my goodness. Where have I been? I've been streaming. I've been streaming so much I don't know what's happening in the real world.
Well, and that's how like I actually was on Twitter that night, and when they were streaming, and I looked, and the community was like, no, it's a scam. So I don't know, what did I do? I go on and I'm like, okay, well, let's read this, and then let's go to their Twitter. Obviously, they're a real person on Twitter. To me, you could see. Well, I don't know. I guess that could be opinion, but here, I'll go up to Twitter here. You can see it. Oops.
Hi, Adam.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
I could see through like his Twitter and stuff too that he was a person because he was typing with emotion, and like so I was like, oh, I'm interested in this now, and then went on through Twitter and started tweeting. Adam got his attention, and then he came on with Adam. And thank you, Adam, for joining us so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thanks for all your work in the back end with the chat too.
No problem. Yeah, this coin's it's really unique. Hex Mikey and I actually had a chance to have the guy that created it on our stream. I think it was on like the night of April 20th that he actually dropped it, because there was so much FUD going around the community. Don't claim it. It doesn't have these safety things, and it was all FUD, and we cleared it up, and it depends on how much hex you have staked. So what if you're a staker and you have staker app, whatever class you are, there's a certain amount of tokens. If you were a squid, you got 750, a turtle 265. So there was a maximum you could claim per person. So the maximum supply can only be 12 million. That's if everybody mints, and you have 100 days to do it.
I see. Okay.
So
Wow.
if you're staked on hex.com, you could just log into MetaMask, go to the website, Pulse Doge, and literally one click to claim. You just pay the ETH gas. And then if you have Staker app, the stake set up through there, you got to do it through the Gnosis wallet or the
Okay.
Gnosis safe.
Okay.
It's a little harder to do.
Yeah.
If you have, what I would say 40 T shares, which is the turtle. I mean that right now is worth over $1,000. The 265 points.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good to know that I'm going to claim mine.
So
Yeah.
worth something to look into. Thank you for explaining that.
Thank you so much, Adam, for hopping on and explaining that. And then somebody's asking me in the chat, BK is asking me about Luxo, Lyxe. I don't know. What's Luxo? I had to look it up.
I don't know. I wonder if it's a fashion brand
Yeah, it's probably a fashion related.
or coin. I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the token, BK?
Probably. Lyxe, let's just say LUKSO.
So what you Crypto side, what you were saying about how like the brands and what they're doing with the metaverse and how you were thinking about, talking about that is where everybody is going, where all companies are going. It's just it's we're so early to it, and the infrastructure isn't in place yet for them to really go into it. But we just talked about on our stream last week how Goldman Sachs just put an article out saying that they are trying to tokenize $700 trillion of assets. Anything that is physical that they can digitize and tokenize and sell, it's coming. So in the next couple years, I mean, I think all sports tickets, they're going to be NFTs. Every movie ticket, NFTs. That way you can physically prove that you were there. Otherwise, you need to have your ticket stub. Now you're going to be able to, in the future, have like a digital profile that basically all of your online history or your credentials or your stuff you've won, you can show it all off in one centralized place. Solana, that's not the answer. They just shut down again. Ethereum, that launch, that just shut down the network. So, there's very few options out there that can scale to the level that these companies need. And that's where what we're really looking into is, what layer ones can actually survive the test of time, because ETH and Bitcoin and Solana, they're not the answer. It's going to be, 8 Hedera hash graph or Zinfin network or these DLTs. And who was it? Someone high up in Bank of America was on CNBC, and he pretty much said that if you want to scale and thrive at this level, you can't use Ethereum. You need something like Hedera Hashgraph's technology. So I don't think you're exactly right. All these companies will have, like Louis Vuitton will have a place in the metaverse where you can go into. And if it's a store or a building, but you're going to have to own Louis Vuitton coin, or you're going to have to buy a certain NFT to have access to it. And everything, when you go to stores and you're going to build up points that you can use towards stuff digitally, it's all heading there.
But what they're doing is really interesting, Adam, is because they built their blockchain, right? And they partner with Prada and they partner with Richemont Group, which is like Cartier and like Jaeger LeCoultre and like some other like big jewelry and some other fashion brands too, like Alaya and Chloe, and which is never done. Those kind of houses, those like big companies all are competitors, and they pulled together and they built a blockchain. And basically it's for, like I said, for authentication and also for chain of custody and also for supply chain visibility, right? And so what they're doing is they're inviting, like people can apply, brands can apply to try to get into that one. Because if you're a brand, you want to be a part of that blockchain, because you want to be on the Louis Vuitton blockchain because then everyone will believe in it. They're branding their blockchain. And so now people are going to participate in the system, and I'm sure there's going to be some kind of fee or some kind of percentage or something, or just from them participating and increasing the volume will pump their own bags. So the way they're doing it's gone about it's really interesting. But what's funny is that it launched a year ago and nobody's talking about it. And nobody's talking about it. I saw it and I was like, is this new news? And I saw it was 2021 and I was like, wow, this is old news. And that's interesting. And the guys who built it were the dev team Consensus from MetaMask. So it must be either somehow associates, not Ethereum because it's its own blockchain, but I bet it's like a side chain or like a fork.
Yeah.
You know? So
Exactly. Yeah, that's it's going to be so interesting to see, are all these, are they each using a different layer one, or are they all using the same one? Because I know that some of them like Quant with their overledger, what they're trying to do in being able to talk to every single blockchain. So in the future, that's where interoperability is the name of the game. Everybody being able to talk to everyone. Like right now, the sending ETH, or if you have Solana, or if you have Cardano, it's a nightmare trying to move it around.
It's a nightmare. You can't. I just let it sit in my wallet, and now it's worth like $5 because Solana is such crap right now. And I'm like, ugh. But I've been trying to like cash out, and I'm like, I just can't even deal like trying to get it over. And then you feel so. I feel like when you're on that bridge, it's literally like being on a bridge with it's like really high up, and there's like nothing underneath. If you fall off, you die. Like it feels really dangerous. You feel so vulnerable on these bridges because you're open. You're literally vulnerable. So the interoperability is like. Everybody, it's such a buzzword, but I feel like it's not, no one's really solved the problem. Everyone talks about it. So yeah, you can kind of go from there to there, but you might fall down and die, or lose everything on the way. So I think that's what really needs to be addressed,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, okay, Luxo is the blockchain for new digital lifestyle, is created by former Ethereum developer Fabian Vogelsteller, author of ERC-20 and Web3.js, both of which are the foundation for today's DeFi protocols. Together with brand architect Marjorie Hernandez, he's building the platform for the next wave of mainstream blockchain applications. Okay. All right, it goes on and on. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Thank you, BK. That's really interesting. I did not know about this, but the team is like from Daniel Head from Nike, the president of European president of Chanel's on it, artistic director of Chanel. This is going to be a Chanel thing then. Yeah, this is really good. It's all Chanel people. Hi, Snabaidi. Yeah, these are like top people in fashion.
And see, that's the stuff that we really look for too. Is this stuff? It's no one knows what's gonna be the winner in 3, 4, 5 years. But when you find stuff like this that has the team behind it, the partnerships, and the credibility, and it checks all the boxes. All you can do is put what you can afford to lose into it, and whatever that amount is. And if you can find 10, 15 of those projects, all you need is a couple $100. And I've firsthand seen them do 500 X's, or if not more.
I look and see. I'm sorry, I was just going through looking to see if things are clickable, because that is a huge indicator in a website too.
This team though is no joke. These are really like these are like top people in fashion. So they're really giving a run for the money for, I bet they came after the Aura, which is the Louis Vuitton one. I bet they came after it because Chanel is not going to partner with Louis Vuitton. That is for sure. That will never happen in anyone's lifetime. So that's what they're doing. They're competing. And they got Nike, which is cool. So they can now get out the street, which is big business.
And they have the money to not fail if they need it to. They can take losses in this stuff and keep it running if they really believe in it, where other startups can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fun to talk about because you see who gets recruited, and I'm like, that guy doesn't know anything. Why is he on there? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, okay, that person's smart, or their company's doing something interesting.
That chart, that chart looks.
I was like, I just looked. I was like, oh, this looks like a nice one.
I mean, it's literally. I mean, it's retraced and just keeps making lower lows. I mean, at this point, what's the downside risk? I mean, what are you gonna go down? I mean, I can't see from here, but I mean, what is it? The bottom of that red there,
Yeah.
$35.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't even want to put money in any of this. I just want to know what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know what's happening because a lot of my friends are in this space, you know, in Web3. So, and I do a lot of, I work on a lot of projects in this space. So I see all the fashion companies and what they're doing. I follow it really closely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And just to know what's going on and see what other people are doing, just to be familiar with it, even if you don't want to buy it, you know, just knowing that
top
it's
signals,
there.
Adam. It's like top signals, it's signals of adoption, it's signals of, you know, like when Chanel goes onto the blockchain, you know, it's going to be like mass, you know.
Right. That's when you know, right? That's when you know mass adoption is here. When Chanel has their metaverse up and running, and I mean, right
They're
now
not far. They're not far. I know that for the fact.
So fast. That's what people don't realize is this stuff is going to come. I think by 2025, the way we live and everything is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
It's a little early now. Like Decentraland Fashion Week happened last month, and it wasn't that great. Like in terms of user experience and attendance, there was a lot of hype around it because I think it's just a little bit too early. Yep. Everyone's still in fashion is wait and see. That would be the overall consensus. A little bit wait and see. They're not diving in, but it will, like, I think to your point, I think by 2025, it'll be like you're in it or you have missed out.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I think a lot of it too is the bandwidth problem. It's just not there yet to support all this stuff. So once that's taken care of in I would say another year or so, and once 5G is fully running, a lot of this stuff the technology isn't there for the infrastructure.
Exactly. You have to be on a desktop to do it. Like, hello, like no. Yeah. You know what I mean? If that's going to be the requirement, then you're not going to get a lot of participation on that.
Yeah.
Georgia's here. Hi, Georgia.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
WeFish says for me to set the trend. And then I did a stream last night where I helped Crypto Graphics start his clothing line. Like literally, we talked about the logo. We put which styles he's going to start with. We went through the bodies. We got everyone in chat because he's a lot of people that come on his show. All the chat voted on which things they liked the best. It was really fun.
Oh, that sounds really fun. I'll have to catch that one.
Yeah. It wasn't a very crypto stream, but it was fun.
Well, that's good. But that's good. Then you're catching fresh eyes and you're catching attention. If you're talking about the same crypto over and over and over again, you get bored. And
yeah, I mean, they're gonna that's not what I have to give to this community. I want to give something else, but
yeah,
that's this is the time to do it. I mean, we're all just waiting. We're all waiting for things to happen. So to branch out and do other things, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, once Pulse comes out, it's going to be the excitement levels and the electricity around it is going to be crazy. So right now is the time to, just try new things or whatever it is while we all know what's coming. And then if it's delayed or if it doesn't come, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. No expectations, right?
Yeah.
We get bored. We're staked Hexicans, but we're also kind of degenerates a little bit. So we like to mess around, and that looks really cool. I want to look into that just to be familiar with it, because that's the stuff. With that team, those people, that the development behind it is probably going to be around for a long and survive. So, to get familiar with this stuff now, that's, this is the time to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it buy the rumors, sell the news?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That'll be the Ripple lawsuit.
Well, you guys have to watch my content because when I do fashion content, it's literally, it's like the graph is so ugly. It's not good.
No, I gosh, I can't wait though. I want to see that. I need to learn more.
I'll definitely. I like fashion. I won't lie about it. So I'll definitely tune in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about like, oh, this shirt is in style. It's about,
Yeah.
I'm looking to fashion blockchain, fashion NFT, fashion Web3. Like that's all I'm going to talk about.
No, I love the way that you integrate. I love the way that you integrate things. It makes it so fresh and relatable and almost exploratory for someone who's not familiar with fashion. Like I'm getting more into that, the seeing different aspects of it, and so for me, it brings me in and makes me curious about different things. So thank you.
Oh no, thank you. That's really nice compliment. I mean, I'm loving your leopard sweater so much. So
Oh,
I like everything leopard.
I love your hoodie. I think that I like you look. I love your backdrop, and you look like so cozy, comfortable, and
Thanks.
well,
Casual Monday. But okay. Well, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to ask me or should we wrap up here? I think we talked about a lot tonight.
we covered a lot, and I wanted to like leave people wanting more of us.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna be able to like get something rolling here. I'm really excited.
Let's try to co-stream. Lindsay, let's maybe try to co-stream and then maybe we can start. Maybe I could do some of the fashion topics live instead of always trying to create content because it's so burdensome to create your own content and edit it and do all the B-roll and stuff. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. We can brainstorm on a show that we can co-stream. I think it could be really nice because you have such a strong business sense, and like I think that our information is very complementary.
Oh, absolutely! I'm so excited. I'm down for that anytime. I'm open. Yay! Thank you.
All right, Adam, thank you for jumping on and for your insight into Pulse Dogecoin. Now I'm going to mint mine and
Yeah, you're
see what
welcome.
happens.
Yeah, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I think we all were with that one. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it to the attention.
Yeah, yes, thank you so much. So it was cool. All right,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks for joining, Adam. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Cece. Bye, Georgia.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Awkward. Goodbye.